Welcome to my favorite event that ACDS is hosting this week. This is our Women in Tech panel. I want to say thank you, especially to our panelists, to our ACDS team for your help and for joining us, and to our team. Please enjoy this conversation. I can't wait for myself and all of us to hear some great stories and advice from our panelists and these experts and women who have some great perspective to share with all of us, no matter if we're in tech or out of tech or male or female. So we would love you to interact with us. We are learning the new Zoom webinar features. So we think the best way to do that is through the Q&A option, and our panelists and myself can see those questions as they come in. We will answer them as we go if they're appropriate, or have some time at the end to play catch up if we need to. But we will go ahead and get started. I am Kristen. I want to say thanks again for joining. I am here representing the Arkansas Center for Data Sciences. This is a big week for us at ACDS. As one of the Department of Labor apprenticers, we have taken a very active role in the state of Arkansas for National Apprenticeship Week. And the state has decided, I think actually nationally, they have decided for a theme on each day. And today's theme is all about women in tech. As a former / current woman in tech, I am thrilled for this conversation. I started my career as a math major and kind of stumbled into tech, to be honest, had a whole different career path that I was envisioning for myself. And I'm so glad that that didn't work out and that this did. I was fortunate to come to Arkansas because of Dylan and spent about 7.5 years there working as a developer and then kind of getting into the people side of things. But our mission at ACDS is to kind of combine those two worlds, the people side of things and the tech side of things. And we want to expand the tech roles for everybody in the state of Arkansas. We think the state grows, the people in our state grow, the businesses in our state grow. Everyone can grow and really be better if we're all working together to get more people working. So I want to say thank you again for joining us on behalf of ACDS. And I will hush. I'm going to serve as our moderator today, but I have to remind myself I'm not the one talking, which I am very good at. But we have some wonderful ladies that I'm so honored to be able to have join us today. So I will pass it to Jasmine as our first panelist to introduce yourself, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today. My name is Jasmine Albrecht. I'm currently working as a configuration specialist for CAE USA. And here in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Thanks, Jasmine. We also have joining us Shilpi at First Orion. Shilpi, tell us where you are, what you're doing, how long you've been there.
Sure, thanks, Kristen. My name is Shilpi. Usually people call me Shipli because of Shipli Donuts, but you can call me whatever you like to. So it's Shilpi Chaudhary. And I'm working as a senior quality assurance engineer for First Orion. And I have been working for this role for over 2.5 years with First Orion. But in total, I have almost like 12 plus years of experience in tech industry. So glad and so excited to talk to you all today.
Thanks, Shilpi. I will probably think about Shipley's Donuts now every time I see your name typed out in my notes or on my screen. It might be a good after lunch snack for some of us. All right, and then finally we have Alison at the Coding Academy. Alison, would love to hear your introduction.
Yeah, hey, I hadn't made the Shipley connection. That's funny. My name is Alison Wish. I am the director of the Arkansas Coding Academy at the University of Central Arkansas. Before that, I have probably 20-ish years in tech as a software engineer, solution architect, and in a leadership position as a hiring manager of technical talent.
Thanks, ladies. I'm sure everyone picked up on what I did very quickly is we have a great group of diverse women who are at all different stages in their career and have great stories to tell. I think that's part of the theme of talking about in tech is diversifying who's at the table, who's in the room, who's on the team at every level in the organization. And so we're not here to bad talk anyone else or get too political. We just want to talk about our perspectives, share them with people who are maybe looking to join the industry and bring more awareness to why we feel like this is important from the perspectives of people, like we said, who are everywhere in their career from the beginning all the way to director level. So let's dive more into these stories. Jasmine, we'll start with you again. Would love to hear more about your journey into tech. How did you get here? Maybe what did you do before? Did you expect to be where you are now? I know that was not part of my journey, so would love to hear yours.
Yeah, I did not expect to end up in tech. And I forgot to say, I've been in tech for only about a year now in total. So it hasn't been very long for me, but I've really been enjoying it. I started out with the path of graphic design being my goal. So I ended up going to college for a while. I got my associates in graphic design and then also an associates in studio arts. So I was more into the artsy side, the design side, and that was what I was thinking I wanted to do. And then something shifted where at the time I was working as a project manager. I got the job with no experience in the commercial construction industry. So I realized I kind of like that working on projects, working with other people. And a lot of the graphic designers I had talked to were sitting behind a desk for 8 hours a day, moving text around on a page. And that's not always the case, but I really didn't see the appeal at that point. So I took a break from school for a while, worked as a project manager. And then while I was still working in that role, I decided to finish up a bachelor's degree online. And I picked organizational management and leadership as the degree. And it sounded cool at the time. I thought, I like leadership, I like organizing things, this is great. And I looked into kind of what that degree lent itself towards, and it was kind of like something that you would get if you're going into human resources, which wasn't exactly what I wanted to be doing, but I knew I wanted to finish my bachelor's because I had so many credits built up that it was, a quick online degree at that point. So I finished that up, ended up moving from Minnesota, which is where I had been, out to Oklahoma City, and then was there for a few months, and then came to Little Rock, Arkansas. And I worked as a project coordinator because that was kind of my background with the project management experience, a solar panel company. And it got a little bit, into the tech world there. I could kind of see that side of things, but I was mostly working on customer service side. So working on like different customer accounts all day long. And I was one of the COVID layoffs. So then I had a few months to kind of look for jobs and think about like, what do I really want to do long term? What's the goal here? And something that I hadn't really thought about that somebody brought to my attention is not just what do I want to do, but how much do I want my income to be? How long term do I want the career path to be? So that was something I thought about, and I saw the Arkansas Center for Data Science's apprenticeship program, and it said no prior experience needed in tech, and I thought that is me. So I signed up and I did some networking with Tech After 5 and met some of the people on the team, and I was really impressed by how professional and welcoming they were. And I think because of the way the people were that I had met and how they described the program, I realized that even with no experience and not having a mind, I thought, for tech, that it was something that I could learn and I could do. So that program paired me with CAE, and I'm in the Defense and Security Division. So I've really been enjoying it. And yeah, it's been a great experience so far. And I see tech as my future now, as my career path.
What a great story. And I want to emphasize that it is a story. I spent a good bit of my career working with college graduates who were looking for their first job, people who were about to graduate high school, getting ready to go to college. And I think everyone thinks, okay, this is my decision point. I'm supposed to know what I want to go be when I grow up, or I'm supposed to know what I'm supposed to go do. And Jasmine, I love how your story highlighted that it changed. You took some twists and turns and you started on one path and you still used those skills, your education, your training, your work experience, and your other roles in the future. And sometimes when we do things we don't love as much, it helps us appreciate when we know that we have landed that goal. And big shout out, of course, to our apprenticeship program. What a great model to help people who are on their journey and want to pivot into tech. It's a great way to do that without having the 4-year degree requirements and things like that. All right, Ms. Shilpi, we'll come to you next. I think you mentioned 12 plus years in the industry, so we know you've got a lot of great experience and probably some good stories under your belt too. Would love to hear about your journey to where you are today.
Sure, thanks, Kristen. So I have some little bit of funny story because I never wanted to be in tech industry. I always wanted to be an air hostess, something which I can travel the world and just enjoy my life. So when I was in 8th grade, my dad got me a computer and he was like, just try something new on it. You don't have to really learn so much of it and just go and play some games. At least you can develop some interest. And one day it just broke and I was like, no, I can't do this. And I just kept it aside. I said, okay, give it to somebody. I don't really want to use it. And then he finally was about to give it to my cousin. And that's where I felt like, no, this belongs to me. I should be working on it. And that's where my interest just got into the computer science. I got my bachelor degree in computer science. And then I did my master's there back in India. So it was in electronic communication. And I got my first job in networking company. So I worked for a networking company for almost 3 years. And I got into the same domain. I started liking more like switches, routers, hub, all the networking, how it works, and data communication. And then I finally realized that this is not what I want to do for long term. I came to United States and I worked for Windstream, which is again a network communication company. I lost interest within a year and I switched to ABC Financial. And that's where I realized that I need another degree. I need something in data quality because I'm working as a quality engineer and I had something which aligned to my job profile. So I quit job for 2 years and I went to ULR and I pursued my master degrees in data quality for 2 years. And then I joined first Orion and yeah, it has been a wonderful journey so far till now. And I don't see myself doing anything else now. I really want to be a QA consultant working for several companies out there, giving them advices how they can make their product better without losing any revenue. And yeah, it's pretty much I really want to do now.
Wonderful. That feeling of knowing when you're in the right role, there's not a lot that can beat that. Shilpi, one of the things that really resonated with me about your story was when you were young, you said your dad got you a computer, but you didn't, want to play with that at first. It's been a couple of years now, and I don't want to mispronounce her name, but the CEO and founder of the Girls Who Code organization, speaking at a conference I was at one time, and she said, a lot of times having more women in tech and in STEM starts with when they're girls and boys and not when they're women. And really having us kind of take a step back and look at the toys and the things we're giving our children to be entertained with. If we're giving our boys, electronics and things to build and machines to create, and we're giving our girls Barbie dolls, and we wonder why, not as many women want to go use their brains and problem solve and go into math and computer science and those types of career fields, then we can help do something about that. The more we talk about it, the more opportunities we give, the more all the way through that process, from college degrees to the non-traditional learning pathways to the entry-level jobs to the board. Alison, we were talking about, certain levels in the organization, having more women move up. And I love that you have gotten to the level that you have at AC or ACA. I don't want to say ACDS, at the Arkansas Coding Academy. So we'd love to hear about your journey to where you are, the leadership that you've been able to gain and impart on others along the way.
Yeah, so I think I've had a little bit of a simpler path. I started I started college as a computer science major and stuck with it, and kind of went the traditional route, started my career as a software engineer, moved into an architect position and on, but it's always been a really great, I had my oldest daughter while I was in college. And so my primary objective was to have a good mom career, right? Something that I could work from home at some point if I needed to, or take off and jump back in. And so it's been a really great career just, in that. I did take a few years to stay home with my daughters and was able to just jump right back in. was in a data architect position for a minute and then moved into a leadership role. From there, I came over to the Coding Academy, and I've been here about 2 years. I kind of went into computer science to be more behind the scenes. I'm very much an introvert. And then somehow I've found myself speaking on these panels, and I'm terrible at it. But one day they won't make me so nervous, and maybe I'll get really good at it. But it's been really great being in this position and being able to help people, you know, find their path and find their way to tech. So it's kind of how I got here.
Well, I don't think you seem nervous at all. I am telling myself not to be nervous as we speak. But we're women supporting women here today, and we appreciate you pushing past those introverted tendencies and joining us. Wow, thanks everybody for your story. I know that took us a good bit of time, but I resonate so much hearing other stories and identifying with certain parts of what people have gone through. And sometimes in picturing myself, like, oh, what would I have done in that scenario? Wow, I can't believe that was the course that Jasmine decided to take. She was brave to do that and try something totally new. So speaking of knowing what to try, would love to hear from you ladies on how did you know tech was the right thing of all things in the world? What was it really that clicked with you to decide to join the tech industry? Shilpi, maybe we'll start with you this time, ma'am.
Sure, thanks, Kristen, again. So yeah, as I said, my dad got me the computer first, and this is when I realized that this is something I really want to work on. But then I didn't know there are a lot of job openings, there are a lot of profiles in tech industry. You could be a coder, you can be a QA, you can be a product analyst. So I didn't know what to actually work on. So then I looked at myself. I felt like I have a personality where I think more negative than positive side. So I can be a QA, a quality assurance, where I can be finding bugs and defects in the products, and I can do great in that. And this is where I felt like, yeah, I'm doing really great in that, and I can be doing this more for other companies. So that's what led me to in this career instead of doing some coding and doing something else. So yeah, that's just a summary of why I felt and picked this particular career in tech.
I'll be honest, I didn't know that quality assurance was a thing in tech until I got into tech. I've heard of quality assurance when I, take the sticker off my new pair of pants that I buy from the inspector and from the bag of chips. We think about it in terms of manufacturing, but wow, the increasing importance of quality assurance software as the number of users for everyone's mobile and web apps are increasing, especially how quick we all are to point out when things don't work the way we expect them to or are too slow. I think that puts a big magnifying glass on those QAs and how it's a great career path in tech that maybe we don't all think of when we first think about tech careers.
Right. And Kristen, some of the times, I'm sorry, I'm switching to the next question.
Go ahead.
So most of the times in the early starting days of my career, I got appreciation like, oh, you're a rock star, Shilpi, you found this. We could have been a huge loss if you would have delivered this to customer. And I was like, oh, really? I did something really great. Okay, let me just go back and find more now. So this is what just kept me interested and motivated in this particular job.
Absolutely. Kind of like you've got a magnifying glass, especially for those people who like to point out flaws or things that are wrong. I know I've been around some of those people in my career, in my family. Those people might be good fits for the QA path. Well, okay, so I know our audience is broad today, but we have a lot of women who I definitely want to make sure we talk to who may be interested in entering the tech field, whether they're career changing, finishing high school, finishing college, wherever someone might be, leaving the military. So would love to hear a little piece of advice from everyone on what you wish you had known if you could start over. Alison, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it took me so long to find my voice, and coming in I was very much an introvert, and so I would find myself not speaking up in meetings or not speaking up in class, and then after a bit I realized I know the answer. I need to start speaking up. And so, but it took me a little bit to find that. So I think one area would be just to speak up. I've definitely had my share of, having a great idea and I share it with someone and then they go and share it and get credit for it. And I think, oh, why didn't you say something sooner? So I think my advice would be to put the work in, do the hard work, learn everything you can, do your homework, but don't be afraid to speak up when you know the answer. Trust yourself, trust your gut, believe in yourself, and just put yourself out there. It took me way too many years to learn that. And so that would be, I think, my advice.
Yeah, the more you do it, the more comfortable.
That's right.
Yeah. That idea of being comfortable with the uncomfortable. Just like when we were saying, we were nervous to start this webinar, but we're still here and we're pushing through.
Yeah, and that's something we coach our students on too. We have a lot of students come in who don't have a tech background or don't have a degree, or maybe they they have a degree in biology and now they want to go into tech, which is a really great, powerful resume to have. But we try to coach them on, get used to being uncomfortable. It's going to take you a minute to learn what you need, but you can get there. And to speak to Shilpi's, I'm sorry, I almost said Shipley now. To speak to, Shilpi, you said you didn't know QA was a career. There's so many great careers in tech out there that people don't even know about. And ACDS does a fantastic job at exposing people to those careers. And we try to do that at the Coding Academy as well, and just show you what's out there. There's so many fun things out there that are rewarding, like finding problems and saving the company money. That's rewarding. That's fun.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of some people who got a career through ACDS, thanks, Alison, for my easy segue back over to Jasmine. Jasmine, what would your piece of advice be, that golden nugget for someone looking to enter, or maybe they are and they're kind of feeling like they're treading water right now in the tech field?
Well, something that really helped me, and this was something it took me a long time to learn. I came from a background where, growing up, we communicated in a very blunt and direct way. And then for about 6 years, I was in Civil Air Patrol, which is kind of like ROTC. So being very direct and to the point, because it's a military program, was, something that was praised. It was good to just get the job done as fast as possible, with quality. But something I've had to learn is to develop those soft skills when working with other people, and that relationships are so important, in whatever field you're in. But I found it really helpful because being new to tech, I've needed a lot of help with things. I've needed a lot of direction from people. And when you work on those soft skills and you're able to better communicate with other people and build those relationships, it's a lot easier to go to those people and say, hey, can I have some time to meet with you? I have some questions about something, because you've already laid the groundwork, and it's easier then to communicate, and then in the future, hopefully you can help them out with something that they need as well. So that's been my biggest tip. And recently I was watching LinkedIn Learning by Lori McKenzie, and she was talking about how it's really important to be able to switch between being that direct and assertive side, but then also that, collaborative and warmer side as well. And she said that women who are able to switch between those two kind of modes of communication are getting more promotions and doing even better than some of the most assertive men in the field. So it's just a really important thing to work on soft skills and read books and do learning on that, to just be better at that communication and to better be able to work with other people.
Jasmine, I love that you brought up the soft skills. I think a lot of times when people are thinking of starting their tech career, the big scary piece of it is the technical skill that it was for me. I said, I wasn't trained in programming. I don't know how to be a programmer, but usually that company is going to provide training, right? There's training through a whole bunch of different sources that you're going to get for the technical skill. But those soft skills are oftentimes transferable skills, things that you learned and used in school, with your family, in organizations that you're involved in the community. I did notice, that women in previous organizations I've been in often did find themselves promoting into team lead and management director level positions because of those soft skills. So those, like you said, Jasmine, can really help you stand out. So don't forget, I love that you have those and when to use them. It's not like, you know, you're always going to be assertive and direct all the time. You got to know when it's appropriate too. All right, rounding out some advice, Shilpi, would love to hear from you. What advice would you give yourself if you were starting over, or share with someone you know?
Oh, yeah, Kristen, that's a great advice, by the way, Jasmine. Soft skills is very important. But yeah, from my personal experience, I did want to say that when I was doing my master degree, my first master degree, I didn't know that I'm going to be a QA. I'm going to be working in a tech industry afterwards. So I did my master degree in electronics, which is more like working into networking and some sort of other industries. Then I realized this is not what I want to do. Then I moved into some other master degree, which is relevant and aligned to my job profile. So I would say you better start knowing what exactly you want to do in your future, in your career. So keep your stuff ready, keep your data ready, that this interests me and this not. So just don't go along with what everybody else is doing. Just try to do what actually interests you. And also to that, I want to add one more point that most of the time we go and ask for promotions, raise, and we don't have our data ready. So if you want to just go and talk about that, just keep your stuff ready. Be confident what you're going to talk about. Once you have your data ready, when you have all the facts ready on the table, you can argue about that. You can be aggressive about that. I'm not saying you have to be aggressive, but sometimes to be in this world where men hold off everything, you have to have all the data stuff and everything ready. So be confident, make sure that you have all the facts ready, and go and don't hesitate to talk about anything you want to discuss. You take the ownership of things you're working on, so you can achieve anything.
So powerful. No one is going to advocate for us as much as we are going to advocate for ourselves. Shilpi, I love that advice as you are going through your career in leading big projects and finding bugs and getting that seat at the head of the table, whatever it is that you're doing successfully. Remember that, write that down, whether it's for a resume later or for yourself, for your refrigerator, to remind yourself when you're having a rough day, hey, I can do this, I've done this before. That confidence really can help when we see it in writing. Then we can't argue even with ourselves that we've done it before and we can do it again. So y'all are making my job so easy today. Speaking of confidence, that just happens to be our next question. So we'll go back to Alison. Have you ever struggled with confidence? How have you overcome that and thought about that throughout your career?
Yeah, so of course I do. All the time. You made me think, Shilpi, I like to keep a folder on my desktop of kudos. And so when, you know, I get feedback or something, I add it to my folder, and then that helps kind of give me that boost when I need a little confidence boost. And so that's something I've done over the course of my career. I just have to remind myself that, you know, I've earned my seat. I deserve to be here. But I still have a lot to learn, you know, so that's kind of how I muscle through that.
I love that. I was actually, full disclosure, on TikTok at some point this week scrolling, and Barbara Corcoran, who many of you, if you're as big of fans of the Shark Tank show as I am, you know who she is. Big real estate mogul, a lot of money. She's got enough money to give people to support their endeavors. She said, you know, before one of their filmings of Shark Tank, I think they were doing it live, she was nervous and didn't believe in herself. And the way she pulled it together was remembering that she's done it before. Hey, I've been in situations like this. I know I can do it. I've done it before. So let's just do it again. Here we go. And I love that, especially from people who are in positions where they are. Everyone's gonna struggle with this, no matter if you've been in the industry for a long time or you're brand new. So Jasmine, a little newer to the industry, would love to hear what you use to overcome any confidence struggles, or do you struggle with confidence?
Yeah, I've had to work on this because I am so new, like you said, you know. And Alison, I love what you said about reminding yourself, I've done this before, and like looking at those wins that you've had. And, I haven't done a lot of these things before, but I can look at what have I accomplished so far? What have I learned? And look at the ways that I have succeeded so far. And for me, it's about reframing my mindset. So I can start to get really stressed out about, I don't know how this program works. Everybody else knows more than me, and go down this rabbit trail and kind of, not want to do anything then. But for me, it's about thinking on the positive side. What have I done so far? What resources do I have that can help me moving forward? And how you think will highly impact how you feel. And then how you feel will impact your actions, what you do. So you have to go back to that root of, how am I thinking about the situation, and kind of reframe your thought process, which will help you down the road when you have to start taking action. So like public speaking like this, I had to think about, I get to do this exciting thing. I'm excited about it. It's going to be really fun. And that has helped me not to be, as panicky on the call. So
we know Jasmine works in tech. Her approach was very logical. We got to take it back, right? The way we think. I love how you said that, Jasmine. The way we think affects how we feel, and how we feel affects what we do. It might have been a paraphrase, but I love that. It all starts back with what's up here and what's in our head. So would love to talk a little bit. I think we all have different, we've all been in different situations. Maybe some of us have felt like we have or haven't been given opportunities because we're females in tech. But I know different people have different experiences and different stories. So Shilpi, would love to hear from your career. Is there anything that you would have changed in a previous work environment to help break that bias?
Sure, Kristen. So when I started working 12 years ago, I had very less female coworkers, and there was nobody in the leadership. And I still remember there were just 2 or 3 female coworkers, and almost after a year, they also quit. And when I asked them the reason to quit, they told me that I didn't get the raise and I didn't get the promotion, and I don't think I'm equally capable of doing this job. So I might find something into other industry. So I felt that was not right, and they should have been confident and have gone and spoken to their managers and leadership that why I'm not getting the task equally as other coworkers, why other male coworkers are getting the job done, and I'm also doing the same job, but I'm not getting equally raise, and I'm not getting the equal promotion compared to that. So if I would have been into that position, I would have definitely speak up for them. I would have definitely tell them just to go and talk to them. You are confident, you can just go and take the ownership of anything you'll get. So to break this bias, and also in the hiring management system, I have seen that there is some unconscious bias. People just don't say that, but when they have 2 candidates, one is male, another one is female, they have this thing in their mind that she might go and have a children, she might extend her family, she might just go on paternity and maternity leaves. So, and they pick the other candidate that he can be more responsible. He will do the job done on the right time. So we need to break that unconscious bias, and we need to give opportunity equally to everybody in the world, because at the end of the day, we started our career at the same time. We both have same education. We are both talented. But when it comes to the tech industry, it's always considered that male can do the job, but female might take more leaves and might have to look at her domestic needs. And also I have seen this during the COVID time, that where my male friends were finding it more comfortable working at home remotely, my female friends were like, oh, I have to take care of the kids as well. I have to find a daycare for them. I have to do this. And they were not able to do work-life balance, and they were quitting their jobs. So this is something we need to feed to our children as well, that we are equally providing you, mom and dad. It's not just your dad is doing something great, and if your mom is working in tech, she's just providing some value, but nothing much. So this is something comes up from the early childhood, as my dad did. He got me a computer and he thought like, why your brother is doing this and not you? So let's just start. So we can equally go and feed this to our children in our work culture, just not do some stereotyping. also take some steps to do something. So yeah, I'm so glad that First Orion is not having that culture. We are equally getting the job done. We are getting equal raise, promotions, and we are taking the ownership equally here. So.
Well, Shilpi, I have seen many comments come through our Q&A praising your statement and your story right there. I think all of us today who are here are agreeing with you and putting our hands in to agree that we want to make sure we're paying attention to that. Unconscious bias is a thing. I encourage everyone, if you haven't, to read Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In. There's some really interesting studies with only names changed, the perspective of the exact same story between a male name and a female. And a lot of that's just built into us, the way that we're raised, the people we're around. It's not a good or bad thing, but it exists. And so to actively think about that and advocate for each other, whether you're it's someone you know or someone you're working with. Working for organizations who prioritize that and put that ahead and sharing that with other people. That's the only way that we're going to make sure that unconscious bias isn't there, and that these statistics that show 1 in 4 women in the tech industry, or 1 in 4 people in the tech industry are women. So the statistics are definitely showing that diversity is not as present as I know a lot of us want it to be and know that it can be. Looking back, let's look back, because I know we're all here, we're all women sitting here telling our stories, and there are many others like us who can do the same thing. I'm hoping, and I haven't looked those statistics up to see how that has improved, but Alison, would love to hear your perspective since you started in the industry and where you are now. How do you feel like the industry has or hasn't changed when we're looking at women and diversifying the technical workforce?
Right. My entire career, from the my computer science courses in college to joining my first programming team, as an architect, going on client visits to present technical solutions to the customer, and then at the leadership table, there's never been more than 4 women in the room or at the table ever, my entire career. Now I'm in higher ed, and it is a lot more female heavy. And so in one way, I don't really think it's changed that much. I love that there's more attention drawn to it now. And I think we are slowly improving. I hope we are. I know at the Coding Academy, we've really, since I've come on board, we've changed our marketing, and we try to show more women in the field, so the little girls can see that women can be computer programmers, and it's not, the stereotypical guy in the dungeon writing code, but it's actually pretty fun. And there's a lot of different careers out there that you can go into. So we've really tried to just show, just have more representation of all minorities, really. And so to help that, but sadly, I don't think it's changed a whole lot in regards to, women in tech. But hopefully, I know I saw Tina Moore put a really great comment on the Q&A, and basically as you move up, pull the other ones up with you, and I think that's so important for us all to remember, just to help each other out.
That's
but
right.
Anyway, how it's changed, not a lot, unfortunately, I'm afraid, but I'd love to hear anyone else's thought.
Yeah, Jasmine, Shilpi, anything else to share on that topic?
Oh, sorry, I was just typing the answers. Yes, so the industry has changed quite a lot. So now, as I said, we have female co-workers or developers, and I'm seeing a lot of interns. We have that ratio where we have male versus female. And a lot of females are really interested into tech industries. So it has changed since I joined a lot. And also the attrition rate has changed. Usually what used to happen, like female used to plan their family and they used to have a baby and they used to say, okay, fine, I'm done here. I have other responsibilities. I have other priorities to look after. But that has changed because of the culture provided by the tech industries. We provide a lot of maternity leaves and they can just go and work from home, which provides the flexibility for them to work easily. So this has changed. And also their ideas are accepted compared to the time I joined, where they were like, okay, we'll think about it. But now they are equally respected and accepted. So this is something I have seen in my 12 years of career, that yes, we are improving, but there is still a way to go. There is still a lot of improvement to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the way that change happens, just like Alison said, it's when the right people are at the table making decisions and implementing that change. And Shilpi, I was thinking exactly the same thing that you were, really, about how the flexibility of our work environment today has hopefully helped that attrition. I noticed the same thing. There were a good bit of women coming out of STEM majors in college looking for entry-level careers, career changing. And then we've got some who've been in it for a while, who started in the career, but that middle group seems to be lighter. So I think women still want to have families. It's not like we have to make a choice and can only work or be at home. But one of the things that I hope will come out of the way that our work dynamic has changed over the last few years is to really help allow both a little bit easier. So that'll be something that I'm curious now to monitor and see if we're able to see that change in the next few years more than we have in the last few.
And yeah, and Kristen, it's very important that we have that diversity. We need to, being a QA, I can say that we need to make sure that we are testing everything right. We are making sure the quality is right. And it's not just gender specific, because most of the time coders, the developers used to be male, and they used to build something based on their assumptions. And most of the consumers at the end customers are females. So when you are building some product for females, why don't you have some females in the tech industry? So this is bringing out a great change, and I'm really glad that we are on a good way, progressing in the right direction.
Absolutely. I think there's a funny story about when car designers were building the layout of the interior of the car, the moms started to buy them and said, where are the cup holders? Where are we supposed to put the bottles and the waters and the coffee? Because they weren't at the table to bring that up before the cars got to production. And we all know how important having a cup holder for your water and your coffee and all the drinks. Yesterday's drinks, we got to have cup holders for those too. Well, all right, we got through most of our questions. I've got a couple more that I see in the Q&A. Please feel free to keep sending those in. We're going to do a couple quick updates. Would love for the ladies to share what they've got going on in their organizations. And then we'll go back to the Q&A in our time left. So Alison, you guys, like you said, have some awesome things going on at the Coding Academy. Would love to hear how we can get involved.
Yep, so we are enrolling in our full stack courses for the spring. Right now, we still have some spots available if anyone's interested. We primarily focus on full stack development. We have some new offerings that'll be coming out soon and some exciting new updates. But right now, these are the classes we're enrolling for. We also have a SQL boot camp. So if anyone's interested in learning SQL, our courses are designed for the absolute beginner, so you don't have to have a tech background to enroll. And then we've started a Women in Tech group, and we'd love to have you join us. There's a meetup in January in Conway at the Arnold Innovation Center, and then we'll have some virtual options as well. So I encourage you all to sign up and join us.
Sounds great. We've got the QR codes here, and I don't think I mentioned this, but we are recording, and we'll send out our recording and some important links hopefully tomorrow. We'll see how long it takes us to pull the recording out of Zoom, but we'll get that out to everyone who attended or registered and wasn't able to. Would also like to give Jasmine and Shilpi a chance to talk about anything going on at their companies. Shilpi, what's going on at First Orion? How can people connect if they're interested in learning more?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of internship programs and apprentice program every summer, and we do have a lot of programs which we go across a lot other than summer programs. So you can just go and look out this career page and find more what suits you, what interests you. And you can also connect with me or Tyler, so you can find out more about First Orion job openings and requirements. But yeah, even if you don't have any experience and you are fresh college pass out, you can just go and join us as an intern or an apprentice, and we train you for 3 months. So that's something which is really interesting about First Orion.
Yeah, I remember hearing a statistic that women are less likely to apply for a job role. They don't feel like they meet close to 100% of the qualifications. A guy isn't going to hesitate. He's got that confidence. He doesn't care if he knows it all. He's going to put his name in the hat. So I encourage our entire audience, especially the females, if you're interested in a job, you can't get it if you don't apply. So put your name in the hat, get your name in front of these recruiters and these talent teams, start talking with them. Sometimes they'll be able to help you. They care about career development as much as all of us here today. And that's how recruiters get excited when they get people hired and get to see them in positions like our ladies are here today. So keep in touch and get your name out there, and don't be afraid to apply, even if you don't feel like you're ready yet. Jasmine, what about CAE? What's going on with you guys, or how can people get in touch?
Well, I do know that we're hiring for quite a few roles right now. So I would love it if you're looking at the career page or the LinkedIn page for them and you see something, if you want to connect with me and we can chat beforehand. And if you want to put me down as a reference, I would love that, to be able to, kind of talk you up to management if I get the opportunity. I think that'd be great. So, and yeah, please add me on LinkedIn. That'd be fun to connect.
Hey, I'll make that easy for everybody. Here are some great QR codes. All of the ladies have been gracious to say they are open to connecting. I think that's the term we're using. So you are welcome to scan and connect with them on LinkedIn. I think that referral can take you a million miles faster sometimes than you can go by yourself. Having people in your lane, just like we were talking about, building each other up. If you're looking for something new or interested in applying to any of these companies, programs, or with ACDS, I saw a question about that, and we'll tell you how to apply with us as well. So I want to see, do our panelists have anything else anyone else would like to bring up, discuss? We do have one question I'd love to bring up. Shilpi, I think you answered it in the Q&A, but to address for everyone, what about any advice for older women who don't want to go back to school, get another degree, but still want to transition into the tech field?
Oh yeah, I already answered that, but yes, you don't have to have a degree for getting into IT. There are a lot of certifications out there. There are a lot of Udemy and other open source tutorials. You can just go and watch them and you can find out what interests you more. If you think like, oh, coding is my thing, you can just go and do some open source coding programs, or you can enroll to some paid certifications where you'll get the hands-on to do some certifications. So degree is not required, and it's just 2 or 3 months learnings which will take you into the tech industry to start off. So yeah, go ahead and do like whatever you like to. And also, as I said, First Orion have the apprentices program. So if you don't have a knowledge about it, you can join us and we'll figure out like what interests you most. And there are several apprentices programs. So if you are interested in program management, you can just join the program management. If you're interested in a software engineering job, you can just go and learn some Java, C++, whatever the technologies we are working on, and you can just get started off from there.
Absolutely. I know Jasmine is a big advocate and started as an apprentice as well. And at ACDS, we are big fans of apprenticeship, and one of our newer programs, I'm going to plug my program baby, the work-based learning internship program as well. It's been a great way for us to see people without experience get a little bit more of that experience to help catapult them into apprenticeships and full-time IT roles as well. So I think we've thrown some answers to those questions on how to get in touch with us. I will throw up this slide as well. This is our contact information at ACDS, so please feel free to email us or visit our job board. Give us a call, however you prefer, to communicate and connect. And we'd love to talk to you, get to know you, see if any of our employee partners or training providers or have anything that might be a good fit for you to get started. All right, ladies, I think that was all our regularly scheduled programming and most of the questions. I'll take another browse through here, but would love any final remarks if anyone has anything you'd like to wrap up with. Jasmine, anything else you'd like to share or add, mention?
No, I just want to encourage anyone who's on here that is thinking about going into tech and hasn't taken those steps yet to, yeah, definitely reach out to one of us, look into it and just go for it, because it is so worth it. And, you know, you don't let inexperience hold you back. And I can be a testament to that for you. And also thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been really fun to get to know you ladies, and I hope to connect in the future as well.
Right back at you, ma'am. This has been fun. Love the chance to get to talk, especially with people at different organizations. Sometimes we don't get to do that very often. We stay in our bubble, you know, the people we work with and see day to day, but love the partnerships. I know our executive director, Bill, says it almost every time I think I hear him speak, and he's reminded me we can't do what we do by ourselves. Maybe that's the theme of today. I think I've heard us say that a couple of times. So Shilpi, anything else you'd like to share and end on?
Yeah, I was just going to add on Jasmine. Yes, go women, go girls. We need you. We need more women in tech industry. So come up and don't hesitate. You are confident. You can achieve everything what you like. So just don't go to pushback by any of the male in the tech industry. Come up, do the certifications. If not, just go do some open source learning and just be confident what you're working on. We need you.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, Miss Allison, anything you'd like to share to wrap up?
Yeah, I was just going through the Q&A. This is great. Yeah, no, this is good. I think we need more women in tech. So the more we can all get together and compare experiences and support each other is really great. Connect with us on LinkedIn. If you have any questions about the Coding Academy, reach out and I can talk to you about that. We're great partners with ACDS, so I can help. We help each other get where it makes sense for them. So agreed with everything you guys said. Thank you for having us today. This was fun. And I didn't hyperventilate or have a nervous breakdown. So maybe we're getting better.
That's right. Virtual high fives. We all made it. And we thank you all for making it with us. I've been monitoring that attendance number and it hasn't gone down, guys. So I think that says a lot. Content. We have kept people engaged, and the comments and the praise that all our panelists, I hope you have seen it, have gotten in the Q&A. Everyone is agreeing with what you're saying and on board and wants to help. So what a great audience, what a great kind of rally, so to speak. We'll all put our hands in and do what we can. And thanks for bringing awareness and sharing your stories and perspective. I'm so excited this turned out so great. We appreciate everyone, especially your time. And yes, please connect with us, email, text, call, hit the bell, whatever, however you want to connect with us. We want to keep the conversation going. So thanks again from ACDS. We appreciate everybody and hope you have a great rest of your day.